Hey, what's going on, sweaties all over the world? You already know who it is. It's your boy, Mikey Savage 21, the Prince of all sweaties, bringing you another sweaty discussion. And today I'm going to be discussing the latest news about the upcoming John Wick Chapter 3, aka Parabellum, as well as the upcoming spin-off series, The Continental. Warning, this video might contain spoilers for the upcoming movie, which isn't scheduled to drop until May 17th of this year, so please proceed with caution. If you know that you want to go into this movie as blind as possible, then tune out and go check out one of my other sweaty discussions. But alright, let's start with the latest news surrounding the John Wick movie, and I'll be primarily getting my sources from two websites, the first being from Cinema Blend and the other from Slash Film. Alright, so Cinema Blend actually got an interview here with Ian McShane, who plays one of the primary characters inside of the John Wick franchise. He actually plays the character of Winston. He was basically doing an interview and he talked about a few things. One of the things that he cited is that this new John Wick movie is going to be big and that it's going to have the highest death count of the franchise so far. And then the director doubled down and confirmed that, and the director said it's about 20% more movie than Chapter 2. So not only are we getting a higher death count, but we're also getting a little bit of a longer film. And so along with that, there was another follow-up question where Ian McShane added some more potential clues that might add some credence to this or that might confuse us. So of course, if you don't know, Ian McShane's character from John Wick is the owner of the Continental Hotel, which is neutral ground for the criminal underworld. And so John Wick, played by Keanu Reeves, did a major no-no in the second film, and he killed someone on Continental grounds. And he was excommunicated with a $14 million global contract out for his life. So right now, everybody in the world is his enemy and everybody is after him. But Winston did him a favor. He gave him a 1-hour head start, and he also gave him a marker for a potential use as a favor later on down the road. Now, of course, they asked him if there would be a major payback against Winston for letting John Wick get away, and he basically said it like this: well, the high table doesn't like anybody stepping out of line, so maybe they'll take me to task, giving John an out even. And you've got Lawrence Fishburne in me, and maybe we get together, maybe we're unvirtuous, who knows, but nothing is the same. Now that line, nothing is the same, it confirms two things. One thing, it confirms that there might be a possible team up between Lawrence Fishburne's character and of course Winston, but it also confirms that Lawrence Fishburne is returning as the underground crime boss, the Bowery King, in this movie. And of course, they recently had some photos come out promoting John Wick Chapter 3, which showed Winston and Bowery standing together. So the question is, are they planning to help John out? Are they just plotting to help themselves if the high table decides to turn on them? And of course, the whole line about nothing's going to be the same. And of course, he also teased talking about shifting alliances in John Wick. So maybe that ties into this potentially unvirtuous team up. And then of course, the last bit of news we have here is talking about the high table. And it says we're going to see the addition of Angelica Huston as the director, a member of the high table who is a connection to John Wick's past. And then of course, we also saw in the trailer that they released, Halle Berry is also joining this movie as an assassin Sophia, who also has a connection to John Wick's past. So we're going to know more people who knew about John way back when. And it sounds like maybe not everybody on the planet will be trying to kill John to get that money, but he'll be facing quite a couple of foes ahead, some new, some unfamiliar. We already know that Common won't be coming back unless he was just lying on social media. And then you had the director come out and say that yes, he's not in this movie, but there could be a red herring. They could be messing with us, and Common could be in this film, because if you don't remember, at the end of John Wick Chapter 2, he was still alive. He told him if he took that knife out now that he would die, but there is a way to take it out that would save his life. He just wouldn't be able to do it right then and there. He'd have to go to the hospital or go to the Continental, where they would be able to assist him properly. What the question here is, what will Winston's role be in all of this? Because again, Ian McShane's character is the one who called out the 14 million hit on his head. And again, he was just following protocol. Again, we already know that the Continental is neutral ground. Anybody who dares go against that, they're breaking the rules. And this is kind of like with unspoken rules. This isn't a case where you have unspoken rules. These rules are clearly laid out to everybody. So it's curious to see where this movie is going to go, if this is going to be the final movie, and how this movie is ultimately going to tie into the Continental TV series, which we'll get into the later half of this discussion. But again, looking back at everything that has been said in this discussion so far, with the highest death count having 20% more of a movie than Chapter 2, because one of the things that I personally didn't like about Chapter 2 was I like that we got a bit more of a longer story, but the story wasn't as good and well put together as the first film. So maybe with this third one, we can go back and rectify that mistake. Again, the first one was all about John Wick. We got to learn a little bit about this mysterious character. We got to see what he's like in action. And then, of course, you had the inciting incident with him ultimately losing the last bit of remaining traces to his wife, them killing his dog, and then him going on that murderous spree to get revenge for that. And then, of course, with the second film, they take that a step further. And this time, not only does he lose ties to his wife again, but he loses his dream house. It gets blown up, essentially, when he turns down a favor from somebody trying to return the marker or the ledger to him. Once again, clear as day, set of rules. Everybody knows about the ledger. Everyone knows about the marker. If someone returns it to you, you have to return that favor. John was apparently trying to get out of that life, and now he is ultimately back, as he said at the end of the film. So, what's John going to do here? Now, we know John is probably going to team up with Halle Berry. We saw scenes of them exchanging dialogue, and it doesn't necessarily seem like Ian McShane's character or Lawrence Fishburne's character are necessarily going to be obstacles to John Wick in this film. So, what's going to happen here, and how is this film going to end? Because how do you get this to stop? You could try to kill everybody in the world, but that's a lot of people to try to have to kill. They said in the article that the kill count is going to go up a lot, but still, you can't kill everybody. So what I'm proposing here is this is what I think they're going to do with the ending. I think they're going to set it up to where Ian McShane and Lawrence Fishburne are ultimately going to take the bullet for John Wick here. I think they're going to go against the high table, and they're going to set it up to where John Wick is going to be in charge of the Continental Hotel now, and he is going to take Ian McShane's place. Now, I know some people will be like, well, that's kind of anticlimactic, but think about it. The relationship we've seen with Ian McShane's character of Winston and John Wick, we saw it in the first one, we saw it in the second one. They have this father-son relationship, looks like. And again, what better way to set up John Wick not dying in this movie by having him take over the reins? My understanding is the only way that this is going to end is if Ian McShane is dead. He's the one that called the hit on John Wick. So if Ian McShane dies, they could set it up to where John Wick takes his place and he becomes the new owner of the Continental Hotel. And again, even if somebody still wanted to try to take his life from the criminal underground world, it's neutral. Nobody can touch him there. So as long as he does not set foot outside of that Continental Hotel, he's fine. Think of it like this. Let's say I want to put a hit out on somebody. Let's just use this in normal mob ties. And again, I know nothing about mob ties or anything. I'm just going off of what I've seen in various movies. Let's say I put a hit out on somebody, and before the hit can be executed or while the hit is in effect, I die. Does that hit in turn now go away, or does it continue to go? Because if I'm dead, how is the person going to receive the money for the hit? That's why I'm thinking that Ian McShane's character has to die for John Wick not to die. Again, they have this relationship where he's been passing on his knowledge to John Wick. Because think about it, he's been helping John Wick this whole entire time. He understood that John Wick wanted to be out of this life. He respected his wishes, but he saw that he had to answer the call and come back. Now, how does this tie back to Lawrence Fishburne? Because wouldn't Lawrence Fishburne ultimately want to be in charge of the Continental as well? Why be an underground crime boss when you could be in charge of the luxurious Continental Hotel? You gotta admit, there has got to be some kind of perks to being the owner of that place. Okay, crazy theory time. We saw that he is reluctant to help John Wick out, but he will help John Wick out. So I could see this going one of two ways. Maybe they pull a fake out and Lawrence Fishburne will kill Ian McShane. Of course, we'll have like a little bit of a Dumbledore and Snape situation here where this is all planned. He'll say, okay, the only way for this hit to stop is for you to kill me. He kills him. He lets John Wick know about it. Either John Wick will kill him or John Wick will give him his dying wish saying that he wants you to be in charge of the Continental. They could set it up that way. I don't know. Some of you might not like that theory. Some of you might not want that to happen. You might want to see John Wick kill everybody and it just be an apocalyptic wasteland where it's only him and a few remaining survivors left. However, how can you tie that into the Continental series? Shifting gears into the Continental discussion, we all know that the Continental show is coming and it's a spinoff in the John Wick franchise. And of course, this is also supposed to play into the movies. Now, I believe that they said that this movie is going to take place before the John Wick movies and that Keanu Reeves is scheduled to make appearances. You could set it back in the past, or if you want us to immediately pick up after Chapter 3, if we want to go with the theory that I proposed earlier, you would have Keanu Reeves pop up every once in a while as the owner of the new Continental that this TV series is going to be based around. And this kind of adds a little bit of credence to it as well, because if we're using the Continental, the main Continental that we've seen, the one that Ian McShane owns, it would make sense because they confirmed over here on Slash Film that the Continental show is not going to have Ian McShane in it. They said that Ian McShane confirmed that the Urban Hotel owner is sitting this one out, and that he says in regards to appearing in the series, he may give them a voiceover, but as far as appearing on the series, no. So what's this mean? Again, if Ian McShane is the owner of the Continental, and again, they set it up in two where you see that there's more than just one Continental hotel. There's many Continental hotels where they could base this TV series at. But if we're going to go with the main one that we've seen in the first two movies, including this third one, who's going to be in charge of it? I see that's a little bit of tricky right there, because why else would Ian McShane not pop up? Again, the man has a lot going on his plate with the upcoming Deadwood movie. Of course, he's out promoting John Wick 3. He's also promoting the Hellboy reboot. But how hard would it be just to pop up and give a quick little cameo or something? But he says he may give him a voiceover. Perfect way to do a voiceover is have John Wick think back to something that he said to him. Let's say that they go with that theory and that John Wick takes over the Continental from Ian McShane's character. He could have some dialogue playing in his head, and it's Ian McShane talking to him, because maybe John Wick feels like, I'm not suited to do this. I'm not suited to take over the Continental like this. Why not? So it's interesting to see how John Wick Chapter 3 is going to end, but it's also interesting to see how the Continental is going to tie into this, because one of the things that Slash Film revealed here is, and this is going off of what Ian McShane has said, he said they've got a really good structure. It's very tied to the film in that it's about the Continentals all over the world, how certain people come into that world, and what happens in relation to those people. The franchise leader, Chad Stahelski, said that I think the world is very vast, and everything I've heard from it is very positive. It's something that the studio seems very, very intent on making and very, very behind. He also added that the series would tell stories from a different point of view. I like telling stories from my one character's perspective. Once you put that aside with the TV show, you can expand that to all different characters and follow them throughout their journey. You can be with the concierge, the sommelier, and I know I'm butchering these names. I'm going to put them up, and for those of you who can say these names better than me, hey, more power to you. I am not speaking for a language. You can be with all these different characters and walk through the world in different aspects. One that I'm limited from exploring by staying with my lead guy. And he's basically saying that he can't expound on the Continental TV series because he's focusing on John Wick. And they're basically saying with this movie, you could have a multitude of characters that you could spotlight from here. And of course, the Continental series does not have a premiere date yet. We're going to hopefully assume that maybe they'll mention something at Comic-Con. I'm not even sure if it's coming out this year. I wouldn't see why it wouldn't come out this year, because you can capitalize on the box office, the possible box office success of John Wick Chapter 3, and this would give some credence to the TV show, because if people were really on board with that third film and they really like it and they want to see it continue, why not have it announced, oh yeah, if you like this one, why not go ahead and check out the Continental TV series coming out whenever in 2019. Either way, I'm interested to see what they're going to do with this TV series, where they're going to go. Again, Keanu Reeves has confirmed that he is going to pop up from time to time. Maybe that adds credence to my theory a little bit about him taking over for Ian McShane's character. I do not exactly know. However, I am excited for John Wick Chapter 3, and I'm excited for this TV series and what's to come after this. So guys, let me know down in the comment section below, what do you think about all of this? What do you think about my proposed theory? Do you see Ian McShane ultimately dying at the end of John Wick Chapter 3 and passing the ownership of the Continental over to John Wick? Because again, if we're going to use mob ties, if he dies, then does the hit keep going, or does the hit null and void at that point? So let me know what you think about my theory down below. Also, let me know what you think about the upcoming Continental series. Are you excited to see it? And do you agree that it would benefit the TV series coming out a couple months after John Wick Chapter 3 so it can capitalize on the proposed box office success or box office draw to the TV series? Let me know what you think about all of that down in the comment section below. Hey guys, again, thank you so much for sticking around and tuning into this video. Once again, I am working on a new schedule. This video should be going up most likely on Monday, and so the way I'm going to set it up now is Mondays, you can expect a audio edition of a sweaty discussion. On Wednesdays, you can expect a actual video of a sweaty discussion. On Fridays, you can expect some form of a top 5 video, whether it's talking about the top 5 reasons why I like Chucky, or the top 5 movies, in my opinion, that are currently in theaters. Some form of a top 5 video. Also on Saturdays, I'm kind of working on something right now. I want to start up my own podcast. I won't speak too much on that right now. Also guys, I should be getting my review for Shazam up here pretty soon. I'm actually going to see Shazam this weekend. I'm going to the early screening on Saturday. I should also have a review for the upcoming Jordan Peele film, Us. I'm also checking that out on Friday. So yeah, I'm going to have a pretty busy schedule this weekend. But again, guys, thank you so much for tuning into this video. Hey, if you want to see more sweaty discussions, then check out the video that I have annotated on the screen. Also, make sure you go and check out some of the other videos that are listed in this playlist. Also, please make sure you like and comment on this video. It really helps me out a lot. And hey, if you really enjoyed this video and you enjoyed the discussion and you want to hear more, why not hit that subscribe button? Go ahead and become a savage and tune in each week as we do more sweaty discussions, more top 5 videos, more movie reviews, and more of everything else in between. Thank you guys again so much for tuning into this video, and I hope you all have a fantastic evening. Peace out, sweaties.